Hey Marshal Keeler sir, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to begin my address with a small short story, a story which has really impacted me and many whom I narrated. It's a story of a teacher and a student. A teacher named Charles Walter and a student named Andrew. So Mr. Charles went to attend one of his old boy's marriage. He met a lot of alumni there. And this young Andrew, who had grown up to be a fine young gentleman, walked up to him and said, "Sir, do you remember me?" Mr. Charles said, "My dear son, my age and memory is just coping. I'm sorry, I don't remember you. But tell me more." So Andrew said, "Sir, I'm rather surprised that you don't remember me, because you are the one who changed my life. I am what I am today because of you. And you do not remember me? Let me remind you of an incident in the classroom." So Andrew narrated. He said, "Sir, in grade 5 in your class, I had liked that watch of another student and I stole it. The student cried and complained, and you made the class sit down and said, 'Anybody who has stolen the watch, own up, and I promise you, I will forgive you.' I was very terrified. I was embarrassed. I would have lost my entire self-respect and dignity in front of my friends and colleagues, so I did not own up. And then, sir, you closed the door of the classroom, told all of us to face the wall and stand with our hands raised and our eyes tightly shut so that no one could see. And you started searching our pockets one by one for that watch. And when you reached my pocket, my heart was beating. And you found the watch, but you did not stop. You continued searching till the last boy and made us open our eyes, made us sit down, and said you found the watch and gave it to the owner without mentioning my name. I had not trusted you, but you kept your promise. And in my entire school life, you did not even once call me and complained or punished or admonished. You saved my dignity, sir, and that changed my life. So I'm surprised that you do not remember this incident." Do you know what the teacher replied? He said, "Yes, I remember this incident. But when I had told all of you to close your eyes and raise your hands, I had also closed my eyes. So till now I did not know who that student was." So ladies and gentlemen, teachers across the world, including this school, they do not just impart knowledge, they impart wisdom. You saw that video in the principal's report. All those accolades, all those wins, all those competitions, they have not just happened with knowledge and skill. They have happened with a whole lot of things which have been put together. Leadership, integrity, honesty, Bahami, esprit de corps, commitment, compassion, and all that goes into a teacher to bring up a student. And what does a student do? The student performs. So before I take you to the student, let me take you to the southernmost part of this earth called the South Pole. Now, South Pole is the southernmost tip of this earth. When you reach there, that's the point where the earth rotates around its own axis. A There's no direction pointing south there. Everything is north, right? But there's something else about the South Pole. It's dark most of the year. 6 months, there is absolute darkness. The other 6 months, if the sun comes out, it's just about an elevation of 26 degrees. The highest temperature in a year is recorded about minus 30 degrees centigrade. The lowest is minus 90 degrees centigrade. The nearest land is 3,000 miles. The nearest open sea is 1,300 nautical miles. There is no flora, no fauna. The wind speed is so much that a wrought iron shot put ball could be blown off. That is the South Pole. South Pole is supposed to be at the sea level because it's a point on the earth. But the South Pole is 2,700 meters above sea level. That is 2,700 meters, 2.7 kilometers, almost as much from here to Lifco Chowk. Why? Because the snow height is 2.7 kilometers in the South Pole. So really a dangerous place to be in, right? So many people tried to reach the South Pole for years. Most of them died, some of them never came back. So in 1911, a person named Roald Amundsen, he reached the South Pole. 4 of his crew members, they died on the way back, but he made it. And thereafter, for the next 100 years, a lot of expeditions took place. Hundreds of people visited, put flags and everything else. So, in 2016, that's more than 100 years after the first man landed there is this man called Aaron Anderson. He landed up at the South Pole. It made big news. It's all over BBC. If you Google, you will find his name there. Why? Because he went to the South Pole on a wheelchair without legs. He lost his legs when he was 9 years of age. He went from the base camp, crawling, wheelchairs, modified sleighs and ledges, 650 miles from the base camp to reach that place. And when the media asked him, what inspired you to reach here? Who or what inspired you? He just replied, I was a geography student. I was awed and interested in 2 things. One was Kilimanjaro and one was the South Pole. I didn't have legs then. And I told myself, I wish I was there in these 2 places. I wanted to be in these 2 places. So 3 years back, in 2013, I climbed Kilimanjaro, and today I'm here at the South Pole. So this is what students are. They wish, they dream, they achieve. This annual function is a very small example of our students. Smog befell in the NCR. So many people lost their health. The government declared so many holidays, and rightfully so. So in the last 20 odd days before the annual function, we lost 11 working days because the school was closed. And just preceded by the Dussehra and Diwali holidays. So I spoke to the team a week before and I told them, so what if the invites are printed? You've lost out on rehearsal time. People forget dialogues, especially the younger ones. Fitting of costumes, full dress rehearsals, music, coordinations. So why don't you move it by another 10 days? The students said no. I asked them why. They had no answer, except the same like Aaron. They said, because we want to do it. We don't want to postpone it. And here they are behind the stage, wanting to create an annual function on the day it was scheduled to be. So when you watch them, ladies and gentlemen, When you watch your children on the stage, don't judge them by their dialogues. Don't judge them by their steps. Don't judge them by their coordination. Don't judge them by their singing and dancing. Judge them with their eyes. Judge them with their zeal. Judge them with their enthusiasm. Judge them with their spirit. And trust me, you will find hundreds of Aaron Andersons on the stage who will build and go to Kilimanjaro and the South Pole of their lives. Thank you very much.